Moon in Aquarius. If you read online about Moon in Aquarius, you're going to find that they talk about someone who's detached emotionally, who doesn't like to get involved in pettiness. They want to be above it all. And that is true about Moon in Aquarius. However, it's not that Moon in Aquarius people aren't feeling and that they're emotionless. It's just that they are idealists emotionally. So, what does that mean? It means that, let's say you want to get in a relationship with one, you better be the cream of the crop. Because if it comes down to petty arguments and going in logical circles over and over, beating each other up, figuratively, of course, yeah, they're not going to play that game. They would really rather be alone. A lot of Moon in Aquariuses are actually alone. And then they look at other people and they say, why do you bother? You're in a relationship for 10 years with somebody that you're not at all compatible with, and why are you? Of course, they know the reason why, and it's because that person needs to be with somebody, right? They have to be in a relationship because they can't be alone. Well, a Moon in Aquarius would rather be alone. In their family, they are usually the voice of reason. If there's a conflict and two people are fighting, usually the Moon in Aquarius is going to try to help both sides to find some kind of resolution. They actually have this crazy idea that you can make logical sense of emotion. Can you? I guess that's the journey of the Moon in Aquarius. If you read about them, they kind of sound like this alien or a computer that's just like zeros and ones, computing. But they actually do have a really deep emotional well. It's just that most people don't really spend the time to dive in. A Moon in Aquarius person isn't like the drama queen. They're not going to draw you in with a big show and tell everybody what's going on with their life. They're going to seem like everything's like even keel, no big deal. It would really take a lot of work to actually find out what they're going through emotionally. I mean, we're dealing with very intelligent people here. They think that the way that most people live their lives is like a soap opera. And everybody comes to the Moon in Aquarius and asks, hey, what should I do? And then the Moon in Aquarius tells them very matter of fact, well, your wife is cheating on you. In response, the person is just shocked, like, how can you say such a thing? And they go along their merry little way. 6 months later, 10 years later, that person comes back and says, you know what, you were right. So that's usually why you're going to find a Moon in Aquarius sitting by themselves in a social place and just kind of like soaking up the vibe. They like to be around other people, but they're not the center of attention. They're just kind of like the fly on the wall. They're there observing. They're studying human nature, figuring out how it works. If you want advice, like you really want advice, go to one of them. They have the best advice. Of course, I don't know if you really want to hear what they have to say. When a Moon in Aquarius is a kid, they feel like they're kind of raising their parents. Their parents are emotionally not able to handle things as well as they are. It makes you feel like the roles are a little reversed. So if a Moon in Aquarius doesn't need their parents emotionally, well, they're probably not going to need a romantic relationship emotionally. Unless it really is just beneficial, where both people are getting something more. If you can bring out that idealist side to the Moon in Aquarius, where you give them freedom, you actually help them to pursue the journey of discovery, I think you'll win them over. They are very wise. They can live their whole life alone, but that doesn't mean that they're not lonely. Part of sacrificing that drama is that they might find themselves to be extremely lonely. And that's just one of the difficult parts of being a Moon in Aquarius. It's feeling like above it all and yet sad that you're up there alone. You're just looking for another one that understands it, that gets it. They are great listeners. You can probably talk their ear off for hours. They can be talkative as well, but not emotional stuff, like not who they're mad at and why and all that, but more just like how work is going or kind of intellectual topic. Intellectualizing makes them feel emotionally connected. It's bonding for them. So, Moon in Aquarius, you guys can come across as cold, but you're really not cold. You're very emotionally evolved. If they were to see you in a situation that's very extreme, like the loss of a relative or somebody that you really love, then they'll see this whole other side to you. Because you do have deep feelings, it's just that you don't want to get involved in all the drama and silliness, because if you love somebody, logically, you want the best for them. You don't want to pull them down with petty, back and forth, snappy behavior. You want to give them the freedom to learn all that they can, just like you want from other people. So being this researcher of emotion and staying out of it and staying where you're involved but you're emotionally detached, sometimes a moon in Aquarius really does need help and they're the last person to see it. They can get very out of touch with their feelings because of this seeking to be above it. Usually they have an amazing understanding of emotions, but in these rare cases, they are completely blind to themselves because Aquarius sees everyone else and they don't see their own qualities. They do have the best advice for other people, but they might, in their personal life, not realize, hey, I'm a person, I have feelings too, I need things in my life, I need to actually spend time with people I care about, and I need to maybe go on a date, maybe. They don't think about things as like a center of attention. They think about everything except for the center. They think about everything as revolving around everything else. They usually have a lot of friends because they can work their way into any setting. They can get along with just about anyone. The weirder, the better. They want to learn from people of all walks of life. They will become friends with a homeless person or a billionaire or someone from a whole different religious background. They're very open-minded. If they find someone that will love them beyond pettiness and anger and weakness, then they will be devotedly loyal because they know how rare that is. Someone that is willing to let everyone be different, to see their own flaws within themselves, to seek for something better than that, is what a moon in Aquarius is really super attracted to. Some people say that the moon in Aquarius, they're cold, they don't cry, they don't show their emotions, they're not connected to their emotions. I disagree. I think that they are usually very knowledgeable about emotions, but maybe the only thing that gets in their way is that idealism, not putting themselves at the center emotionally. But don't think just because they know how to keep their cool that they are not deeply emotional and have deep feelings and that you can hurt them, because you can. Hey, maybe in a way they care more because they're trying to not hurt anyone else. They know how hurtful somebody being jealous or mean or spiteful can be. Usually you see moon in Aquariuses are not often in relationships, but when they are with the right person, which of course they're going to find the right person or nobody, it's going to be a relationship that is different. It's not going to be your typical standard because that's what Aquarius lives for. They want to be unique. What's the moon sign? Well, it's your emotional realm, it's your home life. It is who you truly are underneath all these layers, what stress and trauma brings out in you. And Aquarius is an intellectual. They want to make the world a better place. They want to see everyone's point of view. Actually, those sound like great qualities within a relationship. They're going to really try to understand where you're coming from, as long as, of course, you try to understand where they're coming from. This isn't going to be the person who's really hot-headed, who you get into fights with all the time. Mostly, they don't believe in fighting. Once in a while, if they really care about something, they'll step in the ring. But if it doesn't work, they're not going to fight it again. They are just going to change and redirect. And by redirecting, I mean they're probably going to kind of cut you out of their emotional life in some way. Treat them with respect, and they will definitely treat you with respect. Moon in Aquariuses are very intelligent, very unique, and they usually have a skill for something mechanical, like taking things apart and putting them back together, or math or logical reasoning, putting together an argument like a lawyer. They know how to use logic to their advantage. They also make really good relationship therapists because they know how to see both sides and try to keep the emotion out of it and to bring the two sides together to understand other points of view. Parenting. Well, Moon in Aquarius are not the one to think like all their life, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a parent, it's going to be so amazing. However, if they do actually have children, they're usually amazing parents because they don't naturally put themselves first, which is like rule number one of parenting, isn't it? But they take the responsibility so seriously and they don't want anything to tie them down and they want their freedom. So yeah, they're afraid because they think the responsibility is so huge. One downside is that a moon in Aquarius doesn't always make everyone feel emotionally close. As far as like nurturing and stuff, they're not always the one to just make you feel like warm and cuddly and like you're wanted and needed. So depending on the rest of their chart, they can have like that detached facade with their loved ones. You don't always know how much they need you or how much they love you because you get this sense that they really don't need anybody. So some famous Moon in Aquariuses: Marilyn Monroe, Glenn Close, David Duchovny, John Lennon, Princess Diana, Uma Thurman, people that kind of strike you as someone who's just not like everybody else. They're cool with that. That's what they want. People that have a very unique way of looking at things, especially relationships. Actually, Uma Thurman said something interesting. She actually came out and said that having it all is an illusion. You have to pick. I think that's so awesome that she just came out and said it, because we all know that that's true, but we just don't want to believe it. So Moon in Aquarius, keep doing your thing. Hope you guys enjoyed. And next up, the final sign, we've got Moon in Pisces.